Hello, welcome to Fun Cars and Good People. My name is Carl. In this video, I'm going to install the soft close function to this BMW E90 sedan. The soft close is a feature that can help you completely close the car door when you bring it to the door latch without manually shutting it. So the closing becomes a polite and elegant action that will never disturb the passenger. The soft close feature is usually seen on luxury models, but it is not available on BMW E9x 3 Series. So I will not call this work a retrofit. However, the installation is still possible. Let me show you the details in the following sections. Here I have special thanks to my friend Jong. This DIY work cannot be accomplished without his assistance. John's experience in E9x DIY made this installation successful, especially in developing an adapter for the soft close actuator. Thank you, John. You are my hero. By the way, I'm trying AI tools for video production. You will hear my AI narrator speaking in the rest of the video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. The voices in this episode were generated using VoiceOptima AI. The voices in this episode were generated using VoiceOptima AI, a hyper-realistic Taiwanese-accented AI voice actor platform created by a local Taiwanese team. It offers AI voices with Taiwanese accents that can express all sorts of emotions, making AI voices sound natural, authentic, and full of Taiwanese charm. If you are interested too, watch the full promotion video at the end of this episode. Use the QR code or the link in the description to visit VoiceOptima AI and find out more. The key part of soft close is the door lock with an actuator. The actuator pulls the car door to its complete closed position when the door is brought to the half-closed position. Since most BMWs share the same type of door lock mount, this allows the E90 to accommodate it or lock with soft close actuator. The other key to soft close retrofit is choosing the right part number of door lock for your door panel. The door panels of 3 Series are not designed to accommodate the actuator, so there are no mounts for the actuators and may have no spaces. We had to put extra effort in finding a good location in the door structure for the soft close actuator. The soft close actuator transfers force to the door lock via a Bowden cable. It is recommended to choose the part with a longer Bowden cable, so you have the flexibility for placing the actuator anywhere on the door panel. So for my E90 in this video, the parts for F07 5 Series GT were used. See this table and the video description for the part numbers of the 4 doors. The soft closed or locks we used in this retrofit are branded Himala and made in China. The parts are easily available on Taobao and the price is around $40 to $120. I would say it's pretty friendly. The box contains the door lock only. Quality-wise, I would say pretty okay. Later, upon finishing, the noise of actuation is also quite low. I guarantee you will be satisfied with the quality up of your Beamer. And for the electrical wiring, the actuator simply needs 12-volt power supply from the car. There are no extra signal lines required to connect to the soft closed door locks. Pretty simple, right? But please note that, according to BMW's original design, the power will be supplied by terminal 30G. Simply speaking, when the car sweeps, terminal 30G also turns off. It means the door lock actuators will also be disabled. Please see my other video explaining the electrical terminals on an E90. And let me move on explaining the wiring work. Since the E65 series, the big brother of the E9x 3 Series, have the option of soft close, there is a wiring diagram available in ISTA for our reference. It can be found under Vehicle Management, Troubleshooting, Function Structure, Body, Locking and Security Functions, Door Soft Close Drive, right here, SSP Automatic Soft Close Drive Doors. Here we see the 4 actuators in the 4 doors. Terminal 30G supplies power for the soft close system via two 20-ampere fuses in the fuse panel. The two power lines are for the doors on the driver's side and on the passenger side, respectively. The power lines go into the door panels via the bridge connectors on the A and B pillars. The grounding lines go back into the car and earth at the grounding points. Pretty straightforward, right? So now the preliminary work for this installation is establishing power source. I suggest not to tap known electrical wires in the door panel. That way is very convenient but may lead to further problems. So working on the fuse panel is strongly recommended. I will use the add a fuse method to establish a power supply for the actuators. By doing this, the wiring work will be as original as the 5 series. The demonstration is shown in another video of mine. Please take a look. Back to the fuse panel of my E90, I have vacant fuse slots F29 and F30 available on terminal 30G. I will use them for the driver and the passenger sides, respectively. And because the grounding points on the E90 are different from that of E60, I will place the earth of front door actuators at the footwell, just beneath the carpets, and for the earth of the rear door actuators, they will be placed on the C-pillars around the shoulders of the rear passengers. Let's take a brief look at the essential parts for wiring. Here, we have the E90 with one of its doors open. Each door has one soft close actuator installed, and the actuator needs a 2-pole socket housing connector, so a total of 4 is needed. 2 MDK3 double flat spring contacts, one for positive 12-volt and the other for earth, are required for one socket housing, so a total of 8 is needed. Each door has one bridge connector of the door cable harness. The door side is female, so 810QS socket terminals are needed. On the cabin side, correspondingly, 810QS contact pins are needed. We will distribute power supply via 2 fuses, so 2 double leaf spring contacts and 2 20-ampere fuses are needed. Finally, for the grounding points, 4 flat contacts are needed. To make the wiring work nice and tidy like the original BMW, I strongly recommend using these contact pins. You can easily find them online. Please refer to this table in the description of this video. I would say that the only special tool in this work is the crimping pliers for preparing contact pins. And the contact pins required in this work look like this. The MQS contact pins and the terminals, and the double leaf spring contacts. They are probably the tiniest part you will work on. Finally, don't forget to get some electrical wires with a good quality. It would be perfect if you can source them from parted BMW vehicles. We want to make the work as original and as professional as possible, right? My friend Jong owns an E93 335i. Back in 2022, I mentioned the soft close installation to him, but I did not have the time to do it. Jong continued the research by himself and succeeded with his E93 and some E9. 2 of his friends. He was curious how it can be done on the E90 sedan, so I came back to join his DIY. The installations on the driver's side and passenger side are very similar. In this video, I will just show you the passenger side. If you have any questions, just email me or leave a comment below. Now let's remove the door trim panel to access the door lock and wire harnesses. With the insulation removed, We can proceed to replace the door lock. And to establish the power supply, I will show you the wiring work first. As I mentioned earlier, I took power supply from the unoccupied fuse 29 and fuse 30, which are on terminal 30G. I had to unplug the corresponding connector at the back of the fuse panel. Use crimping pliers to prepare 2 double leaf spring contacts for taking power from the unoccupied fuse slots. Insert 2 new receptacle contacts for fuse 29 and fuse 30. As shown here, the red wire with gray stripe is for the driver's side, and the red wire with green stripe is for the passenger side, respectively. Restore the connector, add 2 20-amp fuses to the new slots, and run the power wire to the door panels. Please visit my previous video for more details on working on the fuse panel. For both the driver and passenger sides, the top trim of the footwell is first to be removed.
是，那这你故意不装的吧？
有这个我有用过。
你故意不装的吧？电灯。
那个坏掉，我就把它拿起来，然后就没有再装过了。
Remove the lower trim of the A-pillar to locate the door cable harness.
好。
The door cable harness is behind this black insulation mat, protected by a foam filler which can be pulled out easily. The cabin end of the door cable harness looks like this. We are going to route our power supply here via the unoccupied pin sockets, and do a bolt near the door hinge to release the door cable harness.
那个手应该是特写，没有？对啊。受伤。
哦，对对对。会啊，我
这边这个部分。
The breech connector on the cabin end can be easily detached.
然后我的习惯是把这个推进去啊，从这边
push it back into the cabin. There are some vacant pin sockets on the connector. We need at least 2 for the power supply and ground. Let's prepare the power and the ground wires for the cabin side. So this red and green wire coming from the back of the fuse box is the power supply on terminal 30G. I use a woggle 3-way lever connector to split it for the front and rear doors. The power wire we have just crimped is wrapped with freeze tape and routed through the hole on the black insulation. Insert the power and the ground wires into the vacant slots on the breech connector of the door cable harness. And for the earth, the grounding point for the front doors is beneath the carpet. Again, I crimped the flat contact for the front grounding wire. Crimp again. Looks okay. Just insert one end of the grounding wire into the grounding point here, and the other end to the breech connector of the door cable harness. The wiring in the cabin side is done. Next, let's prepare the door side harness. Retract the protective sleeve back into the door panel. The power supply to the actuator will run through this protective sleeve. Disassemble the female connector case. There will be vacant pin socket corresponding to the ones we have chosen at the cabin side. We will insert power and ground wires on these corresponding vacant pin sockets.
我都想不起来我那时候做到哪一个步骤。
这个其实买来之后不用特别去给它指弯怎么，让它顺利就好了。
Then run the power and ground wires via the protective sleeve.
我尽量让黑色或咖啡色是选择。
Insert the receptacle contact pins of the power and ground wires.
这一边这一条，稍微剪一下线，盖子。
Restore the female connector.
推出去。
And we wrap the power and ground wires together with the original door cable harness, just like how it's done in the factory professional.
所以它是往这个，
这太难拆了。
对，简单比较快。
然后说我现在有。
Here's the demonstration of preparing the connector on the soft-close actuator. If you buy the MDK3 double flat spring contacts that already have a cable seal and a wire installed, you can save some effort on this work. So now the wiring for one soft close actuator is ready. Let's move on to the door lock. Now let's replace the door lock and install the soft close actuator. The two nuts of the power window have to be undone to clear a way for the door lock to come in and out. Remove the white bolting cable that pulls the door latch. Also remove two cable holders that attach to the door lock. Then remove the three bolts on the door lock to detach it from the door panel.
泡棉会粘住，所以稍微。
哦，它有泡棉。
对。
哦，还好有你，不然这样子拆很快。
是，必须要推出来没有？
对。OK。
会有点挤，但是这是没办法的事。
OK。
然后久了的话就要重设，原本如果。
Before putting on the new soft closed door lock, use the bolt we just undone to tap the screw holes. The new parts just don't come with a pre-tapped screw pattern, so people may find it difficult to bolt directly.
它其实就一点点的。因为我问他说为什么没有公约？这样它的工具机，看螺丝也有时候不会伤到，因为它其实也放到进去，先放，然后这个说
要推那个升降机。哦。
它所以就是要踩那个支架而已。然后这时候先把它要稍微压一下它。这个时候可能需要用手动的比较，因为它那个泡棉是新的会比较厚，所以你可能要先手比较保险。
OK。
John suggests hand bolting the new door lock because the foam seals are new and we don't want over squeezing them. The BMW repair manual says the torque is 9.5 Newton meters and bolt cement is required.
转力车就好了。 然后其实都解了。
OK。
但是不太松掉了。 这一根柜子推进去，然后这个线等下再拆。
用一个敲棒。
Then reattach the bolting cable and cable holders to the new door lock.
那我们这个话，这边有一个那个白色的，这个有一个钩子，有没有？这边这个要把它勾上去，好，然后这个往下拉，勾到这边有一个，这边有一个钩子，有没有？有个固定点在这边，把它推进去，这样就可以了。
The next step is to look for a place to secure the soft close actuator as mentioned previously. The door panel of E90 is not designed to host this device. We had to scratch heads a lot to make sure the actuator does not block anything. I bought the original bracket for a F10 5 series, but it did not help. And the adapter that Jong made for E92 and E93 door panels did not work on the E90. Look, this is how the adapter works on the E93 door panel. I think this is the coolest part of this retrofit. We are developing parts to overcome structural limitations. Jong sketched the door panel to find out where the actuator can be bolted on. Cardboard models were used to check the fitment of the adapter design. Then he used laser cutting to make aluminum adapters. And this is the adapter exclusively for my E90. How cool is it? This is our final decision to install the soft close actuator with adapter. 3 and 5 nuts with flanges are required to attach an actuator to the adapter. And the result looks like this. Arrange the door cable harness and put everything back for the front door.
不是很好塞，
对，那个画面不好塞。
因为卡在那个。
OK。
听到他做东西，因为刚才配有两个一出来，我觉得蛮神奇。
嘿嘿。你说你的机轮扳手坏掉了？
对啊。
John kindly fixed the butyl tape with chloroprene bond. Well, I did not know that there are two different kinds of material, but it seems to be working fine.
它原本是有一定的。
高音。
就是这一条哦。没有装的时候，里面就不能。
对，我没办法开门。扣子如果断掉，其实马上就听出来了。
然后声音不一样啊。
我的影片全部都是用手工具。
是吗？
对啊，我也是想说没有常常拆，所以就没有用电动工具。
我刚把它拆掉了。
哦 ，OK。
对，刚才把它拆掉。
And that's done for the front door. Take a quick look at the result. And let's move on to the rear door. A quick reminder here, the power supply for the rear door will run along the door sill to the B pillar. There are several trim panels to remove to arrange the electrical wire.
因为这个要往下推，因为在这边有勾住，这样可以，看到吧？
有。
边上不是有黑，边上不是有黑的吗？
好，我们那边好像有那个，也可以补。对，直接拉起来。这个空间真的很小。
对啊，因为直接要那个机动车比较好用。
对啊。
不是这样拆吗？
OK， 好了，可以拆了，你就拆。
两颗扣子嘛。
好，B 柱2颗扣子。
So similarly to the front door, I used two blue wires for power and one brown wire for ground and wrapped them with freeze tape as shown in the photo. The two blue wires join the red power supply line coming from the front via a wiggle three-way lever connector, and the brown wire will go to the grounding point. So the arrangement at the B pillar looks like this.
往前拉。
The grounding point for the rear door is behind the side finisher of rear seats.
还有空位啊。
OK， 那不然就用那个。
Similar to the wiring for the front door, we inserted the receptacle contact into the rear grounding point and arranged the grounding wire to run along with the main harness. Connect the other end of the grounding wire to the bridge connector of the rear door cable harness.
对了。
就一拉的时候，不小心就掉了，就滑尾了。
OK。
用这个卷起来把它卷，然后再用热塑料把它包起来，做一层防护。
OK。
The wiring in the cabin is done.
所以左侧的 B 柱你也是这样子做？
类似这样子，对。
OK。
Restore the trim panels.
然后这边下面这边要勾住，这边要往下扳，要勾住了没有
OK。
这样就勾住了没有
OK。
因为如果刚刚只是这样推下去的话，它会勾不住的。
哦，这边要勾住。
这边会翘起来。
OK。
这个是要往下这样勾上来。
好，很棒的重点。
比93好撞动了。
We can now move on to installing the door lock for the rear door. The workflow of the rear door is pretty much like the front. Remove the inner or trim and insulation. Replace the door lock. Establish power supply for the actuator and restore everything. You already have the idea. Just watch how we did it. It is not necessary to undo the nuts of the power window for replacing the door lock.
OK。
它空间够大，有没有接下去？放进去，
However, the window glass has to be fully closed for the nude or lock to pass through.
好了，那就是窗户的关系了。对。
OK。好，
开一声就好了。
我要。好，有了。
This is where we chose to install the actuator. An adapter was also developed for this location. Kudos, Jong. This work couldn't be accomplished without you.
其实不太会漏，那边漏，大部分都是下面在漏。
It is also a good timing to check whether the clips and foam gaskets are intact. They may be damaged and make the door trim panel rattling. Having new parts replaced is so sweet.
补上去那
个。上次。
And that's all for the rear door. Let's take a quick look at the result.
不错哦，而且很安静哎。
你的大声其实没有什么听到啊。
对啊，对啊，其实。
Also, the driver's side is done. Thank you again, Jong. I wanted to overdo the soft close installation by adding the VO, the vehicle option code, to the car. I say overdo because on an E90 there are no modules associated with soft close. I just want to do the retrofit like factory work. Therefore, I try to code the corresponding VO323, which means soft close. But it was not possible. The E90 knows that soft close is not natural for it. So you can save the coding work if you are wondering whether coding is required. I heard a curious case about abnormal battery drain after the installation of soft closing door locks. There are two possible causes for this problem. One is the wrong use of electric terminals. The other is that the car is unable to sleep. The wiring we are using in this video is based on the OEM wiring diagram of E65 series. The soft close actuators directly take power from terminal 30G, which will shut down in 30 minutes after the car is locked. If you are not familiar with the electrical terminals, please see my video about their functions. So if the wiring ends are done correctly, the soft closing feature should not cause abnormal battery drain. The other cause about the car being unable to sleep can arise from the door locks. There are sensors inside the door lock to detect the status of opening and closing. The status signal is transmitted on the CAN or car area network. When the car detects an open door, it will not sleep normally and keeps consuming electrical power to be ready for use. The installation of the soft close feature does not involve CAN, so this cause can be least concern. But if you unfortunately run into abnormal battery drain, you now have the idea for troubleshooting. For me and Jong, we never have abnormal battery drain after the installation of soft close. We can assure you that this DIY is 100% safe to your 3 Series.
So that's all for the DIY installation of a soft close feature to BMW E90 3 Series. I hope you enjoyed this video and will enjoy your own successful DIY too. By the way, I believe you have many thoughts about the performance of my AI narrator. I did the minimal corrections to it just for all of us to see how good it can be. Leave any comment below and I will send them back to VoAI for further improvement on the model. See you in the next project. Bye bye.
Hello， 大家好，我是绝好声唱的 AI 声优柔一。你是不是常常有这样的困扰呢？需要制作影片或声音内容，但录音不仅耗时费力，还很花钱。想用 AI 来配音，但市面上的 AI 声音都很僵硬尴尬。
你今天过得好吗？一直下雨，心情好差哦。
中文 AI 配音大部分都是中国口音。
早上好。你有收到我发的视频信息吗？
你的3个愿望可以一次满足。
绝好声唱提供高拟真台湾口音 AI 原声，精准模拟台湾口音的说话方式、语气、声调，提供喜怒哀乐不同的声音表情，例如说开心欢乐的声调，
生气不开心的情绪，
难过、 悲伤的感受，
非常厌世、心累的语气，
或是温暖的口吻，让 AI 合成声音像真人一样自然，充满道地的人情味。有了高拟真台湾口音 AI 人声，除了一般的广播、广告、影片旁白等内容，你可以运用的场景更多元。
很荣幸邀请到绝好声创的汪一成教授来和我们聊聊。汪教授您好。
谢谢宇珍的邀请，这确实是个值得讨论的议题。
两位帅哥美女，今天想出什么呀？
阿姨早安，我要一杯大冰奶。
只需要输入文字，就能轻松生成台湾口音 AI 人声，超过30位 AI 配音员任你选择。绝好声创还提供企业 API 以及定制专属 AI 声优、有声书制作等服务，无论是个人或企业，都能享受最有台味的在地化声音体验。现在就扫描 QR Code， 登入平台就能免费试用哦。
绝好声创，高拟真台湾口音 AI 人声。
绝好声创，高拟真台湾口音 AI 人声。
哇塞，这些人的声音怎么那么真实？真的好厉害！
那当然啊。喂，你还站在那边干嘛？靠近一点，过来听听看啊！
你不要这么说好不好？求求你们，拜托听我说句话。
前面是在哭什么哭？好了，快过来拿折扣码，我想早点下班。
哈哈，看来大家都很有活力嘛！记得扫描 QR Code， 就能免费登入试用哦。
还可以一键生成2人对话的 Podcast 呢，这么好玩哦！赶快过来试试看啦！
很荣幸邀请到绝好声创的汪一成教授来和我们聊聊。汪教授您好。
谢谢宇珍的邀请，这确实是个值得讨论的议题。
小帅哥，今天想出什么呀？
老板，我要一杯大冰奶。